Morning, guys. Chris, take us out.
Good morning. Welcome from
Morning.
sunny California. It's actually quite sunny this morning. I can't even see the bridge. It's that foggy in San Francisco. Um, David, how's it going for you?
It's going well. I'm almost human from recovering from this bout of kidney stones that I've had. So I'm almost on the other end of it. The sun's shining. It's a really nice weekend. Looking forward to get outside a little bit today later and get some sun. So yeah, doing good.
Excellent. Welcome. And Marco, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing peachy here in beautiful downtown southern, not California.
New York? Excellent, excellent. So I guess we're going to talk about flipping back a little bit to what we used to talk about maybe a year or two ago. We're going to go with what do you use? What devices do you use and why? And what's working for you? So I just switched from a MacBook Air back to a PC. I used my MacBook Air for, I don't know, 3, 4 months, and I found that my greatest problem with it was that I do a lot of contracting, and trying to use the review features in Word for red lines and stuff like that was buggy, error prone, and um, it wouldn't crash so much as just stuff would stop working and I'd have to restart Word and things like that. And it was just really frustrating.
Isn't that fun in the middle of a document and you have to pray that it recovers properly?
Absolutely. But I mean, even worse, like you'd be running a search to find all mentions of the word encryption, and it would say there were 12, and then it couldn't find the 8th, ninth, and 10th
Which version are you
ones.
using?
The current version, whatever it is, I think it's 13.
Okay, 11.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Whatever the current version, the Mac version.
I'm using 2015. That's out now, and it's much better, but it still has its issues.
Well, it's still in beta, right? So the 2015
Yeah,
looks just like the PC Word.
it looks like 2013
Yeah,
on a PC.
right. Looks
Uh,
exactly. Yeah. Um.
but I had that problem with Word, and then the other was still a similar Microsoft problem, which was Excel. Is people send me Excels with macros in them, and I have to use those in response to an RFP or an RFQ or something like that. And the macros were hit or miss on the Mac.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So I've got one similar to that too. XL 2015 new version, latest
Yeah.
build. The company I work for is expense report spreadsheet. Every time I go to print it, Excel crashes. I had to actually, which is really crazy. You do the whole thing and you go to hit print and you can't get it to print. So the only way I was able to print it was to open it up in LibreOffice and print it out.
Yeah, but that's not fair, right? Because it's still in the beta.
I know.
But it's light years away from what Chris is using.
Oh, I had 2011 for prior to this. I
I do
found it to
too.
be 100% unusable.
Yeah, you can't use the Excel.
Yeah, it was unusable. This new one, it approximates what it's supposed to look like, and it's
So let's
better. They just have to shake the bugs out.
so let's talk about this for a second. We're talking about version V21, right, or something like that of Microsoft Word on a Mac, and it's unusable. If I were Apple, I mean, um, I was listening to NPR Garrison Keillor yesterday, and he wrote an ode to Word. I'll find it and I'll send it to you guys just to share it with you, and we'll put it in the program notes. But he wrote an ode to Word, to Microsoft Word, how it was the most wonderful thing in the world. And Word and Excel are pretty much fundamental.
Well,
There are very few companies that could exist without them.
yeah, exactly.
And how can you have fatal significant errors? I mean, even when Word was working right on the Macintosh, it'd take me 5 clicks to do something I could do in 2 in a PC.
Well, but here's the thing. So Word, the Word that you're using, Word, Excel, and Outlook, which is Entourage, whatever you call it.
And PowerPoint too.
and PowerPoint, they weren't actually Microsoft products. What they were a company that Microsoft used to do some sort of like porting, who had their own clients, and they were given the code to be able to be compatible somewhat.
Huh, I didn't know that.
Right.
Just enough that the big Microsoft one's just better.
Yeah, that's why you could use, that's why when we came in, it was called Entourage, right? Remember that? It wasn't called Outlook, it was called Entourage.
Right, but then they upgraded from Outlook to call it, from Entourage to call it Outlook. They actually had a version that was with yellow icon.
Yeah, but it was still Entourage. It was actually a different company that they just, bought their software to use on a Mac. This is going to be the first time that it's actually a product which I give the new guy a lot of credit, which I call him Nutella, which is not his name. But he's trying to make his product available on any platform.
Well, to me, regardless of what the circumstances are, you've got to have Word and Excel down, because I know a significant significant number of my customers run serious portions of $100 million marketing budgets are run on Excel documents that are Outlook emailed around.
Right.
So I don't know how Macintosh could expect to be able to take over business if they can't address that need.
But I think it was a strategy, right? Because this is not an Apple issue. This is an issue that Microsoft.
That's like GM saying the gas isn't good. That's why the car's having problems.
No.
You're right. You're right.
It'd be like licensing out OnStar and wondering why it doesn't work as well on non-GM cars.
Right, because GM would make it not. I mean, well, I've been on Mac for a long time and PC a long time, and I can tell you that you can see that Microsoft is not feeding.
Chris, you there?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm here.
You can see that Microsoft is not feeding.
Yeah. And I just everybody got pixelated and froze on me for a few seconds.
You were fine. You can see that Microsoft is not feeding the right software to Mac because they don't want to promote another platform away from theirs.
Sure.
This is like GM giving, one version behind of the transmission to Chrysler.
Right.
But it's no excuse. And let's put Google and Apple in the same boat, given the fact that these two companies are reliant upon the Microsoft product. You would think that these two companies would have, with their budget, have produced product that could actually be useful. Because you can't use Google Docs.
You can use Google Docs in an elementary way, but you're right. It's not. I can't do it for contracts. You're absolutely right.
You can't run a business on it.
No, you can't.
What happens the first time somebody sends you an Excel spreadsheet?
So you can. It's again, as long as the spreadsheet's simple, the same way you could do with a Mac, you can run the spreadsheet in Google Docs.
Can you open a Excel spreadsheet in Google Docs?
Yeah.
Natively?
No, it converts it.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Sure. But I can also run a spreadsheet with 20 tabs in Google Docs and have 20 different people working on each one of those tabs.
Yes, absolutely. And even if you go into Numbers, the Apple product Numbers was a great product if everybody in the world used it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as long as there aren't too many macros or things like that, Google Docs will live with it. Which is the same issue that Macintosh has. Nobody seems to know what to do with macros.
Okay, let's talk about that for a second. So one of the things I was trying to do is um, away from the the big Mac or big PC, is work on a tablet. Have you ever tried doing work on a tablet?
No, it sucks. I mean, yes, and it sucks.
Yes.
Really hard. I'm back, by the way. My Google Hangout crashed. I had to shut down Chrome and restart again.
So I have this great thing that
On the Mac.
I have this great thing that came out for Apple, which is this.
Uh-huh.
Sorry,
It's cute.
here it is.
Yep.
Yeah, we got the idea. It's a keyboard with a thing attached to it.
Right. And
Is it QWERTY?
It's not Dvorak?
I have one of those too. You want to get it?
I have a feeling you did.
But it's a good note-taking machine.
Really?
Yeah, I take really good notes with it using Workflowy.
I've seen people use Evernote with the handwriting recognition plugin with a pen and an iPad. And I've seen people work so fast with that. I'm really impressed with how they can do it. I can't do that at all. There's no way.
Dreadful. It's dreadful.
Yeah. I swear by myself.
I bought the right pen. I bought the right things. You're not spending $2,000 on a notebook.
It makes no sense.
Yeah, and you can buy one for 69 cents, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then you can take the picture with Evernote, and it'll read the writing anyway. Right.
Well, that's what I do with Evernote.
Mm-hmm.
I take the picture. There's a great app called Expendable.
You would tell me about it, but I believe it was only available for iOS. I couldn't find the Android version.
Really?
Yeah.
That's unusual for Evernote. Scannable.
Well, Evernote, you can take a picture of handwriting, and it will read it. You can take a picture of virtually anything, and it will read the image.
Yeah, I mean, so if you think of your dock on the bottom of your iPad, right? Where's my...
Mm-hmm. I don't have an iPad, but go ahead.
I've got one right here.
Let me take mine.
Doorstop.
I don't own one.
Mine's dead.
Oh,
That kind of tells you what's going on, right?
there you go.
Yeah, but even if you look at the bottom of your iPad, I've replaced Calendar with Tempo, Notes with Workflowy, and I replaced Mail with Outlook.
Okay.
So now why can't you just use any tool?
So now I'm using, in a similar vein, my new favorite app is Mobile Day. Do you guys use that?
Day? No, what does it do? Okay.
So what Mobile Day does is it gives you a calendar, it reads your calendar, and it makes it look like this. And the big button with the telephone on it.
Hold on, I can't see.
You don't need to read it. That's the beauty of it. The big button with the telephone on it is a conference call, and next to it, it's got a computer screen for a webinar. So it takes care of any service, because I'll connect on a given day to GoTo and WebEx and Join Me.
Yeah, me
and
too. I'm on and off both of those all day long as well.
And so it reads, and it doesn't care whether it's set up the right way or not. Any invitation, it just reads the invitation, figures it out, grabs the codes, all that kind of stuff, and it's one button connection.
So this is expensive though, right?
It's $15 a year. First 3 times I used it, I saved my $15. I'm done.
So I use Tempo, which looks a lot like this, I think. What does this do that Tempo doesn't?
I don't know. I haven't used Tempo. This is purely a calendar app. My biggest problem is this doesn't exist on my PC, because I would love to be able to sit down on my PC and punch one button and have it connect me, and I can't do that right now.
I have that. You have to. Well, what are you using for
I'm using a PC.
But what are you using for your? You mean anybody else's thing? So you can do that. I do that with WebEx. I have the one.
Yes, with WebEx. That's the
It works with
problem.
GoToMeeting on the Mac and WebEx. You just click the link in the email, and it usually takes you right into it and authenticates you.
It's supposed to work on JoinMe because we've standardized on JoinMe. I will say that I think that JoinMe as a connection service, and all the conference calling sometimes sucks, and that's what you get when you go to anybody other than GoToMeeting or WebEx.
Well, JoinMe is huge though, so don't be fooled by JoinMe because JoinMe is log me in.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
90% of the companies out there are using LogMeIn to do all that. I never had that problem.
I found their audio isn't as good as the other two, but it's not terrible. It just isn't as good.
The beauty of JoinMe is there's no download
Oh my
for
God,
visitors, for the recipient.
it's easy as hell.
Yeah, that's the beauty, and that's the reason we standardized on it. Obviously, to present, you have to have a download, and the mobile app is surprisingly good too. So I use it all the time on the mobile, and it connects me up, and I can watch the whole presentation and everything. So it's pretty slick.
So the one that I'm using for
work.
Well, it's for my telephone is actually Tempo.
Okay.
And they just got bought by Salesforce.
Oh, Joe.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, that's a shame. I'm sure it was a good company.
Yeah.
Does it integrate with Salesforce already?
No.
And they bought them, huh?
Yeah. I think because the Salesforce One is probably the most bloated app I've ever seen.
It's bloated, but yet it doesn't have any features that are useful at the same time.
It does try to tell my boss all my private information. I think that's a feature.
You got to deselect those alternate calendars. It keeps reselecting all calendars.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting the way that works, I know. And then if you ever tried to use it to make a quick phone call from it, so you can log a call into it and then type your call notes in quickly if you're running around, it's just rough. That's all I could say.
And it says it's iPhone only.
Yeah.
So David, when you mentioned hybrid apps and stuff like that, is that where you mean that it's not only iPhone or Android, but that it's also PC or Mac?
Now let me just back up a sec on the difference between native, hybrid, and mobile web, because I think it's important to just lay what the three are if we're going to refer to them. So a mobile web app is you're opening Chrome, Safari, Firefox, whatever browser of choice that you like. And
on your phone.
You go to a web page that's right from your phone, and you're going to a web page that's optimized for that device. We'll just call it that, period. Well, how it's done, whether it's responsive or just standard Java, it doesn't matter. We're just saying it's optimized, and it looks almost like an app, but it's a web page on the phone. Okay?
Got it.
Which certain web pages you've seen that look like that, where they got sliders and carousels and stuff like that. The next level up from Yeah, exactly. Then the next level up from that would be what's called a hybrid application. In a hybrid application, we use tools like Cordova that's out there, which basically creates a wrapper around the application. So as a developer, the code base for iOS and the code base for Android is 80 plus, maybe even 90% the same, depending upon how complex the app is. So they write the same code base to support all the devices, almost like a responsive web page that's embedded into the app. And then there's about a 15% difference in code that the software handles that creates a wraparound and gives you an icon to launch it, puts it in the app stores for you as well. So it becomes available to download as an app. And it works, it looks and feels just like any other app. It's very fast. You can access the camera on the phone, GPS, other services that you may want to use. It's just not going to be fully optimized for each specific device like the last category, which is native is. Because when you build native, you have to build it to the specific device, and little nuances in hardware that are different can create some major issues for developers. So every time there's a new version of iOS, a new version of Android, new phone that comes out, think of all the different devices that are out. You have to kind of choose your battles with who's going to get supported. And that's why a lot of
nobody's building native.
Most people started off doing native iOS. Now hybrid has become the big trend, except for games and multimedia apps, which are all native, if they're any good.
Okay.
It's almost like online, offline. It's like, Google is that same thing with offline stuff, right?
Right.
And that's why apps break when they update. You get an operating system update, and some of your apps may not work as well as they used to until they come out with a new version of it for your device. And you may have to get 6 updates to the app over a period of 3 months before you finally get one that doesn't throttle your CPU and heat up your device or create problems.
Okay, got it.
Does that make sense? So that's the fundamental difference.
So for a non-programmer, native is built specifically for your phone, and it's probably games or things like that that are highly intensive and need to use everything they possibly can. The hybrid is a program that's been wrapped in something that makes it compatible with every phone and all that kind of stuff. It's the easiest and quickest way to market, but it's not going to be optimized particularly for your device. So it may not have some of the features that you're looking for, that you're used to in your type of phone and that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's still a very good compromise for most applications.
It has to be updated, right? Where if you're doing something with, if you're doing something responsive, you all you do is update the website and you have it.
Right.
Got it.
And then
if you build a mobile
web,
application, if you build mobile web, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So the mobile web requires connectivity. You're really looking at a website that's just been designed for the device or for a mobile phone.
It could be for the device, Chris. Every time you come in,
right? It could hybrid for whatever, or it could give you a different experience whether you're hitting it with an iOS or an Android device or something like that. It's probably the most up-to-date as far as the information you're going to find on a website or stuff because it's actually a website.
Right. But you need connectivity.
Well, hybrid can be the same as mobile web. That's the point I was making, because hybrid is a wrapper around the mobile website. So you can have the same content management system feeding your hybrid application as you can feeding your website. So you can have the exact same content feeding the app. The difference is
hybrid could be an app or it could be a mobile website.
It's usually a mobile website wrapped inside of an application wrapper is what it actually is. That has offline capabilities.
I think the part we're missing is because you have a couple of streams, right? You have a design stream, you have a content stream. Your design stream, if you have a responsive site, your design stream could be updated instantaneously without going through an app store.
Got it.
Right? The content is just that. The problem with both of them is you need connectivity.
Yeah.
Right.
So a full-blown app native mode. Yeah.
But the calculator, what do you not need creativity for?
Right. Cool.
Could be a push. You could have push that occasionally gives you information.
So what do you call Evernote, which is on the PC, on the Mac? It's got a Chrome plugin, and it's on iOS.
Cross-platform.
Cross-platform.
That's what I want. Hybrid app.
But hang on a second.
That's what I really want to see.
Hang on a second, because Evernote's got a couple of things. Evernote's got an app for possibly every platform I can think of.
Yeah.
Right? Plus, you can get it from the website.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's what makes it so useful.
Right.
That's why I'm sticking there.
I love the product. I think it's great.
I mean, granted, it's relatively simple, but, compared to what some of these other things do.
Before I say something, let me ask you if you guys have figured this out, because I haven't. So before I say it doesn't do this, do you guys build to-dos with it?
No.
Okay. Do you guys take notes with it?
Yeah.
How do you take notes with it? You just open up a new note and start writing?
Yeah, I'll make sure I save it in the right folder.
Hey, I want you to take a look at this application that I've been using, and it's the same thing as Evernote. It only does one thing. It's called Workflowy, and the only thing it does is build outlines.
Really?
Yeah, that's all it does. And it's got apps just like, think of it as OneNote, right? But what you can do is you can do one long outline and then do views from it. It's literally changed the way I take notes.
Really? I've never used this before.
It's a freebie.
What does it integrate with? So you typing a note on your phone or tablet. Is there like a Mac version or a PC version?
Yeah,
So
there's a version for everything. There's even a Chrome version.
Oh, that is interesting.
And there's an app. I think there's an app. I think there's no app for the Mac, but I have it on my phone.
But if it's Chrome, I can do it in my Chrome browser, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
That's
what I
what
use
I use.
anyways on the Mac. As long as the thing's not crashing, it's great.
It's so simple that it's great.
Yeah, I actually can use some help in that area, to be honest.
So that's where I needed the help from. I needed help with taking notes. I thought I could use Evernote, although Evernote gets all my receipts. Right? I know you work with
I work with Expensify.
Expensify. That's it. But
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, that's because your company is 2000 compliant. Mine is still 1985. But hey, listen, don't knock it. 1985 Duran was a really good year.
That's true. That's true. No, if you've got any question about what to use for expenses, Expensify is just brilliant.
I agree with you.
And I've gotten into the habit now where somebody hands me a receipt, I stop and take a picture of it, and then I crumble it up and hand it back to them.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
And then I write a comment, and I'm done, and save it, and I'm done. And
yeah, I had Expensify in the past. I was very happy with it.
It's just and it just keeps getting better. So.
I just put
this looks interesting.
on my phone. I'll be checking that out.
I guess the question is, what's the future across platform? I think that's the killer app. That's the killer app. I need to be able to do this. If they make me use a Mac, I'll need to be able to do it on a Mac. I need to be able to do it on my PC. I need to be able to do it on my phone, on my tablet.
It's funny you should say that. That's exactly what I'm working on.
Yeah, it shouldn't matter where I'm at.
That's right.
And to me, the path of least resistance today is Chrome.
So the only problem with Chrome is it doesn't work well on Macs.
Okay.
Right?
It's getting better, though.
Well, but it's a problem with Chrome. It's not a Mac issue. And the other problem is there's certain PCs that it doesn't work very well with either. It kills them.
Yeah.
It's got to do with the firmware, right? The way that the Chrome OS is interacting with it.
The Chrome OS or Chrome browser?
The Chrome OS meaning that the platform behind the browser.
Okay.
The way it interacts with the machine because it wants to own it. So one of the things I'm working on.
Oh, go ahead.
One of the things I'm working on is my Raspberry Pi.
Oh.
And making this into a Chrome box.
Some sort of a Chrome server?
No, Chrome client.
Okay.
Because then all the apps that are Chrome, I can run on this.
Well, the Chromium project, I think, started on Linux, which is the basis for Chrome. So if you're running it on a little compact Linux build, you should be able to do it pretty easily.
So what do I like about Macs, right? I like the design. I like the fact that they're stable environment. I like all those things, right?
Right.
If you were able to use the cross-platforming that we're talking about, then you could use any device you wanted to.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is what I'm thinking of. And even with my iPad, the more I fill the dock with those cross-platform app, then I could pick up the Samsung tablet and use it.
Yeah.
truly making, going back to commoditizing product, because the issue is still becoming that the Macs now are Intel-based computers, right? They've been for a while, but they've pinned themselves to the they pinned themselves to the roadmap of Intel. So it doesn't give them. It doesn't give
click
them.
click boom or something like that they call it, or click click or tick tick tock or click click boom or something.
I don't know, but it doesn't give them an advantage to anybody else. So if you buy the latest Samsung laptop, it's got the Broadwell, or Haswell, whatever, and Mac will have the same thing.
Yeah.
So where's the benefit there?
Well,
and Mac has got a huge scalability issue.
Yeah, they do. I think one thing that's interesting about what you're saying is, I agree with you. I think we're going to a cross-platform world very quickly now, and I think you'll be able to choose whatever hardware you want to run the bulk of the applications. And if you look at what Microsoft is doing with Windows 10, by making it sort of free, part of your 365 subscription, I think that's a very smart move on their part. So they're going to get revenue from people. You'll get access to the primary apps you need, which really are Word and Excel and PowerPoint, right? And maybe Outlook if it's usable to you. And they'll just make it cross-platform. And if you use their operating system, things will be just more harmonious. And you can use it on anything else that you want as well.
And I apologize for not bringing that up from before, because David is absolutely right. You want to look at cross-platform? The 365 product is amazing.
Yeah, and they do a good job with it. I've now used that as my default, the cross-platform for opening all my attachments. I don't even use the native viewers anymore because I have the subscription, so I use it on my Android devices and my iPad. It does a nice job overall.
Yeah,
$1 a month for a user.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a brilliant move. One of the smartest things they've done recently in recent times with marketing.
All right. On that note, we should probably wrap it up.
Skedaddle.
Sounds good. Oh, Chris, by the way, happy birthday. Tomorrow or something, right?
Tomorrow. Yeah, I'll be 206.
Yeah, I thought you were going to do 30 again.
206 billable hours.
I wish, yeah. I wish. Thanks, David. Appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Take us out, Chris.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening to the latest Tech React podcast. Let us know what you think. You can reach us on the web, on the Facebook, on the Twitter at Tech React.
See, we're cross-platform too.
This is Chris Keefe and David. Say goodbye. How do we find you?
Bye, everyone. You can find me on the Twitterverse at DS11.
Thank you. And Marco, where would we find you?
You don't want to find me. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Thanks a lot.
Bye, guys.
Bye.